Welcome. I am just thinking that this might be a good tutorial. I'm going to be taking a image and getting it into 3D Canvas as a 3D token. And I'm going to share my process. So first, we need a full body image. So I used a AI generator to come up with a full body image here and remove the background. So um, that is the image. This is a Star Wars game, so we have kind of a sci-fi aesthetic here. And then there's a bunch of these conversion models. I'm using this one from AI Studio, but Meshi is a popular one. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab that image from my NPC list. Taro Reskin. And we're just gonna generate the 3D model. I'm not gonna do low poly and stuff. I'm gonna let, sometimes it goes too low poly for my tastes. So I'm gonna let it do its thing. And then we will use Blender in order to optimize it for 3D Canvas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Blender started as well. And I can show you, I have Midjourney open because there's a few characters that I've done this for already. So you can see some of these folks in here. Let me see if I can look at this is a Wookiee. And yeah, in 3D Canvas, we'll go to Cocoa Town here. We can see how these turned out. I also have so I'll show several examples. Okay, so in 3D Canvas, we could see here is a Wookiee that was from an image and then popped into an animator. We also have this guy here, a Gamorrean. So you can see, well, I animated him, but you can see it's pretty good for what it does. I believe Revos. Oh, he's out of here. He's not in this scene. But he was also one of these examples. But Duasti is the one I recently made. So a female Wookiee, and we can sort of compare that to the image of, where is she? Let me go back. Okay, maybe I do not have Duasti in here. So it's really great though to get decent custom models in 3D Canvas, and she's, gosh, probably not that big of a file. She's using 512 textures, so I've done this with monsters too, but okay, we'll see. It looks like they added some complexities based on him having some type of backpack. So Looks pretty good though. He's got that robotic arm. Give him a kind of an interesting coloration on his face. So yeah, let's take this and we'll download it. I'm gonna put it into my 3D NPCs. I don't think I have a tarot on here, so Terreskin, and we'll pop that in there, and then we will open it in Blender. So we're just going to import, and we'll find that same file under tarot. Now, in Blender here, we can see that this thing is 312,000. That is not optimized for what we are doing. Plus, he's got this weird bag thing. So we're just going to tab and see what we can grab here. And make sure we get the whole bag. I'm just hitting Control L to grab anything that might be linked. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Looks like they just sort of took whatever that was and merged them. And I'm afraid, yeah, it's gonna grab that bag. So let's not do that. And let's just take what we can, and we'll have to fill that up. But let's delete that. Now we've got this patch that we'll just sort of fix up here. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm sure there's better ways, but I'm just going to delete some of these vertices that poke out. Then let's see if it'll do this. I'm going to take the whole thing here and just hit F. See if it's going to let me fill it. Almost. That's a little too complex. Oh. It's thinking about it. We'll see what it did. Yeah, it kind of gave a weird ending there. But since I'm not making a game asset, it doesn't need to be super perfect. So we have our character. Now, we do need to optimize them. And I want to keep the paint job as best as possible. So I'm going to start with a merge by distance. We'll see what we get. Moving 57,000 vertices. We'll tab out of that just to see. I don't want to lose too many details, but it does need to be optimized. So if I go into my modifiers and decimate, we're at 429,000. So we probably definitely need to decimate this guy. We'll see what a ratio 0.1 gives us, which really looks fine. We're still at 42,000. I like to get down to 20. So this is where we might get a little tricky. But he's definitely optimized a little bit more. And this is where we can start to lose details. You'll see I can go really low and it's very low poly, blocky. But 16 to 20 face count, or if you look at the verts at the bottom, 10 to 20 verts is kind of very optimized for 3D Canvas, but we don't want it to be too blocky. So I'm gonna maybe even, but he's not a huge main character. We're not gonna see him a lot. So I think that's probably good. 20,000 verts. Now I like to make my models animated a bit, even if it's just a small animation. So if you have the Rigify edition, you can add a simple basic human. I'm going to hit Alt-Z to solidify those bones, and we're going to make sure we can see it in the front there. And all we're going to do is match this to the best of our ability to the model. So I'm just gonna move this up a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect, but the closer the better. I'm gonna turn this, move it back, and then over, maybe something like that. And we'll move this arm down. I could already tell based on the mesh, the other arm is probably merged and is not going to play super friendly, but that's okay. A workaround if you're really wanting a nice model to animate is to make sure that they have a pose or T pose. But again, I am doing this pretty quickly and not at all for a published game. This is for a VTT, Star Wars VTT to be specific, virtual tabletop, so it doesn't need to be super fancy. Okay, let's make sure his head's good, which I could live with that, but you know, I'm just gonna take this whole thing, move it forward, move that back, and probably a little to the side. It's kind of tilted, something like that. Okay, we are gonna get out of editing, see the scale, we're gonna apply everything. We also want to make sure that scale is done. I'm gonna do another merge by distance just to get rid of anything. I can do some cleanup and stuff, but I don't really want to mess with the texture. So with the mesh selected, I'm gonna shift select the bones, control P to do automatic weights, and I didn't get any errors, surprisingly, so that is great. So all I'm gonna do, sometimes in my normal processing, I go into pose mode here, and I just make this one a static pose and call it 0. That way when you place the token, it's not moving and whatnot. And then the next one I do like to do as an idle pose. I'm just copying the first and last, and I like to do a couple of turns here. So we'll call this one idle. I'm gonna go ahead and get my record button on, because I'm guessing his arm will be attached. Yeah, see that? So that's that mesh piece where a T-pose would be helpful, whereas it's not going to do it on this side. But since it's just a idle pose, we're going to move this. We can move his arm a little bit and his neck, his head. And we'll go right around here, and he can move his arm out front. Maybe like that as he turns his head. And then if I hide this, you can see what he looks like. Pretty simple. He doesn't need much, but a little bit of movement can go a long way for the game. And I will go ahead and unhide. Let's push this animation down. So I got the bones, the mesh selected, grabbing it all. I'm going to do an export to GLB. We're going to stick this into my Star Wars 3D NPCs Taro Reskin column. Taro Reskin animated. Here are the settings I use if anyone's interested. Selected objects, the mesh, the material, WebP format to optimize. If I'm using shape keys and then the animation, I do like to do NLA track names. So that's just me, but we're going to go ahead and export that. Now in Foundry, I can find Mr. Taro And if I place him without changing his model, number one, 3D Canvas will try to fit something, but something else that it can do is if I take this token image, I can make that the 3D token. So if I just do that, oh, that's not going to work, is it? I think maybe we just take this off and make sure his appearance matches that token. There we go. So this is what you would do if you didn't have a model. You just have a couple of these things popping around, which is fine. Works out really well. Or we can load up that model I just made. So looks like I have a world file open. It's not, oh, there we go. And we're going to go back to my 3D. Finding Tarot. Oops, I got to do named. Nope. Where is he? There we go. Okay, it's going to load that up. And I don't know if we saw, I didn't see the file size, but let's check that out. It is 1300, 1.3 megabytes, so not terrible. We select the file and bada boom, bada bing. We've got a relatively optimized Tarot Reskin in game. Now all I need to do to animate him is under the advanced, we're just going to change animation index to 1. And there we go. Simple way to get a customized 3D model in 3D Canvas and make it move a little bit. So obviously you could spend a lot more time if you need to. If you have characters with effects, you could tie them to attacks and stuff. And get really deep into this world. So hope that was helpful, and keep playing.